Bonsoir, mon ami, and welcome to another episode of ASMR in the best possible timeline. Jacques is in the background there. I don't know if you can see him, and I are house sitting right now. And this is the first time I'm not recording an episode after midnight. I've been prioritizing my sleep lately, and my sleep schedule is going really, really well. So, I'm sorry in advance if there's any noises. I'll try to edit them out if there's anything that's like too crazy. Tonight's episode is going to be about what some people are calling the Pisces portal of I'm recording this on March 1st, so it's tomorrow, March 2nd, but by the time I upload, it'll probably be today, March 2nd. This energy will be happening the 2nd and the 3rd, and it's really going to set the pace for, the next 6 months, especially, but the week following. So if you're catching this anytime before March 10th, it's going to be a really good idea to muse over the opportunities, the unique opportunities that are occurring right now, and set your intentions and set them into motion. So the 2nd, which is the actual day of the new moon, is going to be the 2nd, the 3rd are like the best days to get clear on your intentions, and then it's actually more like the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. That's when you're going to want to start moving towards those intentions with deliberate action. So before we get too into the new moon stuff, I just want to have a moment where we talk about holy quantum portal of last week. If you got a chance to watch my quantum portal energy, there was a lot going on in the stars right now, and I thought that something was going to happen on an international level, and unfortunately Vladimir Putin felt the pull to manifest that really, really quickly 2 days after the 22222 portal. He went to work on the Ukraine, and now there's a whole crisis happening over there. And it's been a really challenging time to hold that energy and to know that, and to try to think of what to create for content has felt so challenging for me and insignificant. And I really had to sit with that for a while before I finally got grounded in the idea of this is a challenging time. ASMR helps people relax, and maybe I can help people relax through this challenging time, or just be with them and help them feel connected. So hopefully this is my attempt at service. It felt really insignificant when it was all going on, when it was really, really fresh a week ago, but I'm now grounded in the fact that maybe it will be helpful to someone who's going through something, whether it's on an international scale or more interpersonal. There's a lot going on right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to be here for as many people as possible during this really challenging, interesting, tumultuous time. So I just wanted to say too that this quantum portal was really heavy and weird for a lot of people. Now, in my inner circle, my immediate inner circle, there was a gambit of emotions, and I was holding space for everybody as I do, which is something that I learned about myself, and the way that I can show up the best and hold space. But that was one of my big lessons of this quantum portal. But I know because I feel like when things start with that like fire energy, they might end in that fire energy. So I'm really like have my fingers crossed that it's not going to be like that at all. It's just going to be amazing, and he's found his person. But that was like one end of the spectrum of emotion that I held space for in the last week. Oh, I'm going to move this chair. I hope it doesn't make a terrible sound. Sorry. God, another friend of mine got like depressed and suicidal, and I had to co-host like a depression intervention. One of my friend's fathers is in the hospital, which is obviously really challenging for her, and was very triggering for me because he's in the hospital with something that took the life of a close friend of mine, and something that they were worried was wrong with my mom at one point. And whenever anyone's parent is in like a potentially fatal situation, it brings up a lot of really intense emotion in me. So there, and then like half of my family got COVID. It was really intense. Two of my siblings, one of my nieces. So there was just a lot going on personally for me in this quantum portal. Obviously, nothing as intense as having to go to war for a cause you don't believe in, or your country being invaded by war. Thank God. But yeah, I just want to acknowledge like the intensity that's going on right now. A lot of people I've talked to are experiencing a lot of negative emotions, a lot of things that are like coming to light that are uncomfortable, and then obviously you have this whole war thing happening. So it's intense, and I feel like no one in the astrology world is talking about that, because this new moon is supposed to be the luckiest new moon of the year. The luckiest new moon of the year. And like, yes, I'm here for it. I'm gonna get into it, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about all of the hard work that's involved in the sky right now, in the chart, in this new moon, and in the world on an international level. And like, there's just so much happening right now, so much like intense Pluto in Capricorn hard work energy going on. So if you have been feeling that hard work, you are not alone. I am right there with you. So is my whole inner circle, really. So I just want to acknowledge that, and to say that's kind of the backdrop on which this new moon rests. So if you've been going through it, yeah, it's time. It's time when a lot of people are going through it. This new moon happens in Pisces, March 2nd, 2022 at 9:34 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this new moon energy is really going to be happening for like the second and the third. And really it's setting the tone for like the following week as well. This new moon is happening in Pisces at 12 degrees, which is like Pisces degree. Pisces is affiliated with the 12th house, and it's at 12 degrees. The sun is at 12 degrees. That's what makes a new moon. And then you have Jupiter at 14 degrees and Neptune at 22 degrees. And Jupiter and Neptune are the planets associated with the 12th house of Pisces. Pisces is the sign associated with the 12th house. Like, there's big 12th house energy happening right now that like no one is talking about for some reason in my deep dive of astrology. Even though this is actually happening in the 10th house, which is like the house of career, but really it's more like the house of like your role in the community, which may or may not be related to your livelihood, and it's about where you get like a meaning, and it's got some destiny vibes in there as well. Destiny. So a lot going on with this big 12th house energy happening in the 10th house. Now the 12th house is called the house of troubles. So everyone's like, this is the luckiest moon, and it is. It's the luckiest moon of the year. It is time to dream big, my friend. But it's got a lot of House of Troubles energies. There's going to be events and experiences that disrupt your identification with personality, and catalyze ego death. It is time to get into it, folks. It's going to be a confusing time. There's going to be lots of ups and downs and pushes and pulls, and it's like, in order to navigate this optimally, you're going to want to pause, you're going to want to reflect, you're going to want to try to cultivate and slip into what's called witness consciousness. The Pisces is all about witness consciousness. So navigate it optimally. You're going to get into meditation, spiritual practices, prayer, and creative endeavors. That is the goal. That is where your intentions should be positioned towards. This is a dreamy new moon. This is not the time for practical, logical, 3D thinking. This is the time to dream big, and take a risk. Do something that you wouldn't normally do. Be the fool, step off of the cliff, and trust that Jupiter at 14 degrees is leading the way. Jupiter is the biggest planet. It's the planet of faith. You know, Jupiter is like this close to being its own star. So Jupiter has your back. Jupiter says, we've got this. But you have to take the risk. You have to do the uncomfortable thing. You have to do the illogical thing, the thing that like your head doesn't want to do, but you feel pulled in your soul. Do that. This is a very auspicious time to manifest. If this is being navigated, this big 12th house energy is being navigated less optimally, it can look like the Pisces tendency for escapism, what Stephen Forrest refers to as the search for numbness. So try not to get lost into the search for numbness. You know, this is escaping into food, sex, drugs, TV, video games, anything where you can just like check out without cultivating a deliberate intention is how you might navigate this energy less optimally if you're feeling very overwhelmed, which can consciousness and cultivating that understanding that you are not experiencing the world directly. Instead, you are experiencing your awareness of the world. So that is kind of the terrain of this new moon, although again it is happening in the 10th house. The 10th house, the 10th house, and the 10th house is the house of career, which is really all about your role in the community. What gives your life meaning? That might very well be your job. It might be your role in your family as a mother, as a father, as a sister, as a brother, as an uncle, as a niece. Whatever gives you meaning. So this is an especially auspicious time for you to manifest your wildest dreams regarding something that's really scary and meaningful to you. Meaningful. So when we think of Pisces, again, they call Pisces the mystic, the dreamer. I call it witness consciousness, all about the awareness that you're not experiencing the world directly. You're not experiencing the world directly. You're not experiencing the world directly. You're experiencing your awareness of the world. Your awareness of the world. You know, most of the time we get sucked into that ego narrative. Like when you get sucked into a movie and we think we are our ego. You are not your ego. You are not your ego. You are not your ego. Your ego is part of you, but you are so much bigger than your ego. And that is what this new moon is all about. It's about the opportunity to do something so much bigger than your tiny little personality that has all these weird quirks and neuroses and opportunities for personal growth, and like do that, but do it understanding that you are so much more than that. So yeah, this new moon is about the process of pulling the ego back, so that we can slip into witness consciousness, so that witness consciousness can take over the driver's seat in our lives, and that we can observe the mind observing the world. I like in Stephen Forrest, in his book Inner Sky, he talks about how this reorientation of understanding sort of that you are in the world and not of the world, to be like cliche. He says this reorientation changes nothing and yet changes everything. So that's where we are at. We're going to change nothing and everything with this new moon. If you want to deep dive into the topic of witness consciousness, I highly recommend a book called The Untethered Soul. I love this book. It's so amazing. Like I said before, we're house sitting right now, so we don't have the book with us. Otherwise, I would probably read you something from it. To me, witness consciousness feels like that Beyonce song, Halo. And if you're gonna look up the song, because you don't know what I'm talking about, where you got inspired, I love LP's version of the song. Actually, she has a live recording. It's just LP, and it's phenomenal. Beyonce's cool too, but like, I love this tiny little woman with this enormous voice. And she says, the song says, remember these walls I built, maybe they're tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down. And that to me is like the ego, it's tumbling down. And that's what this new moon is all about. She says, standing in the light of your halo, I've got my angel now, and I feel like that is, that's the witness consciousness. Like, once you're standing in the light of witness consciousness, it feels like a loving halo that just envelops you, and cultivating this on command is so empowering. Can't recommend it enough. Sorry. Like the song says, she goes on to say, surrounded by your embrace, and that's what it feels like once you can slip into this capacity for witness consciousness. She says, you're everything I need and more, and those are really the gifts of witness consciousness. And coming out of that really intense portal, I needed this reminder, and I needed like this aha moment of like, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to slip into my witness consciousness. I'm gonna activate that, and that has just helped so much in the last couple days for my personal life. I cannot even tell you. And The Untethered Soul is also a really good audiobook if you don't have the time to read, but you can listen to something during a commute or a workout or cleaning and gardening. That's a really great way to absorb the content of that book as well. I wanna just share with you a quote from this book. The Inner Sky by Stephen Forrest. I love this book. And this quote is about the strategy for Pisces. So he says, the Piscean strategy is letting go of the world. It is a recognition that consciousness itself is the only reality we can ever contact, and the only reality that ever needs to be adjusted. So good. I'm going to read it again because it's amazing. The Piscean strategy is letting go of the world. I needed that message last week. And in the last couple days, I've really been working on that. And that's a big theme of this moon, is to just let go, to trust in something that is super uncomfortable. Take a risk you wouldn't normally take. Have a faith, not that it's going to work out. You don't know how it's going to work out. And that's part of the beauty of the process. It says it is a recognition that consciousness itself is the only reality we can ever contact, and the only reality that ever needs to be adjusted. So if you're anything like me, and honestly everybody in my inner circle, then this new moon, and it's in the stars, it's in that conjunction of Pisces and Neptune and Jupiter, or the moon rather, in Pisces, and the sun. It's really all about cultivating that witness consciousness, transcending your ego, transcending. Again, when this is in balance, your witness consciousness is activated, send our personalities and direct that energy into creative endeavors and imagination. I like another quote that Stephen Forrest says. He says, like no other sign, Pisces can imagine. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces can imagine. So, the challenge here again is not to slip into the Pisces shadow of the search for numbness, which again can be overeating, over drinking, doing drugs, watching tons of TV, getting lost in a video game. Pisces is so sensitive, and it's gonna get overwhelmed if you don't channel all of that energy. And again, this energy is like extra big because of the conjunction with Pluto and Neptune. And interestingly enough, Pisces is like all about endings, right? It's the last sign of the zodiac. And you have Pisces, Jupiter, and Neptune, which are all the 12th house, which is the last house of the zodiac. In Pisces, the last sign, there's this grand clearing, this letting go that you're being called to do right now. And I know for my personal life, that was definitely a theme of the days leading up to this new moon. Is like, I felt very unsafe, and it was making me very anxious. And usually I don't have like big control things, but for whatever reason, probably the interpersonal and the international backdrop of what's happening right now, I was clinging to, wanting to understand and control things. And the last couple days have been all about doing like the shadow work for me of just letting go of any illusion of control. We don't have control over anything. We're literally never safe. Safety is an illusion. Control is an illusion. What's not an illusion is our relationship with consciousness, our conscious experience of this moment, this moment, this moment. So there's this grand clearing, lack of control, but like embracing the lack of control and having the faith that Jupiter gives us. That's the energy of the sky right now. And it's like the whole sky is asking, like, what are you willing to trust and to grow? That was hard. That was really hard for me. I will lie to you. It's been a process. And during this Pisces portal, with all of this big 12 house energy happening right now, that question of what are you ready to trust and grow, specifically regarding the manifestation of meaning in your life. Meaning. And your role in the community, and also like a balance and harmony, right? Because Pluto is in Capricorn, conjunct Venus and Mars. And whenever you have Pluto with a personal planet, let alone two personal planets, let alone the lovers of the personal planets, it's like a call for a deep transformation. Pluto removes obstacles and it clears a path for transformation. It also is about letting go. That is such a big theme of this new moon. So what is shifting for you in the balance of masculine and feminine energy in your life? It might be the balance within you personally. It might your relationship with one other people. It might be your relationship with the world. Like, what is happening for you? What's shifting in you regarding this balance? And this is all in Capricorn, right? Venus, Mars, and Pluto. So there's gonna be work involved. Like Pisces says, dream big, get ethereal, dare to dream. Jupiter and Pisces especially is like, I've got your back. This is a very good time to receive information and to lean into your intuition. And it's a very, very auspicious time, probably the most auspicious time in the year to start something new. And bonus points if that thing that you're starting is like risky, if it's uncomfortable. You have an opportunity to relinquish some of the control that you usually demand, and trust Jupiter, and that Jupiter is there to encourage you to have faith, to be the fool. Step blindly off of the cliff, because the universe is going to provide. It's the luckiest moon of the year. Thank God, because of like what's happening internationally and interpersonally for everybody I know. But again, it's not the time to lean on your practical muscles and your logical muscles. It's the time to do the ethereal, radical thing. Have a radical leap of faith. A radical leap of faith, my friend. And because I always like to attach a practice to a moon, what I'm going to be doing and what you can join me in doing if you want is I'm going to be writing down my intended manifestation. Again, remember to dream big, just to put it into perspective for you. If you took all of the other planets and made them one planet, they would still not be as big as Jupiter. Jupiter wants to be a star. Jupiter is like almost a star. It's still vying for its opportunity to be a star. And that is the energy right now. You have this huge, big dream, destiny, energy happening. So dream big. Write down your intended manifestation. Fold the paper towards yourself. Get some water. This is not the water. She doesn't have mason jars, I don't think. I'm going to have to use a bottle of water. I usually use a mason jar. Fill it up. Put the paper underneath the water. Put it in the moonlight. Some people say you can just put it in the moonlight for like a couple hours and then grab the water and drink it. And don't let the sun touch it. Some people say it's okay if the sun touches it. I go back and forth. Do whatever feels good to you. So when you get the water after it's been resting in the moonlight, what was I gonna say? Oh, open up the paper. Read your affirmation 3 times. Because hello, Nikola Tesla, he's smarter than I am, and he loves the number 3. And then drink your water. Say those intentions to your water. Drink your magical moon water, and get ready to go to work, because this is a very, very lucky moon if you're willing to do the uncomfortable thing and put in the work, my friends. So happy new moon in Pisces to all of you. I love Pisces seasons. I love Pisces. Some of my dearest, closest friends and people I love so much are Pisces. yeah, so it's an intense time of transformation and rebirth and opportunity and luck. It's so lucky, but you've got to do the work if you want to cash in on the luck. So happy new moon to all of you from my best possible